The objective of this lesson is to understand how to use the row column formulas and the rows columns formula. So let's start. Here you can see I have some data. Basically for each data point I have put in this cell what is the row. For example, here is 814, and what is the column. For example, column C is the third column in the Excel, and so on. Here you have the fourth column and you have those rows. So we're going to start by getting the row number of each of those cells. We're going to do it on those cells, and here it's the same concept. So I'm going to write equal row, then I open the parentheses and I select my cell, and then I close the parentheses. I get 814. If I drag this formula down, again I will get all the rows corresponding to those cells. Now let's get the column. So we'll get the column for this cell and then this cell. For this cell, I'm going to do equal column, open parentheses, I select the cell, close parentheses, and I get 3. Now if I want to do this one, I'm going to do column, open parentheses, close parentheses. After selecting the cell, you get 4. Next, I need to know how many rows I have in my data sets. So I'm going to select this data set and check how many rows I have. So I'm going to do rows with S this time. I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to close the parentheses, and I'll get 6, which means that I have 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, those formulas are useful when you want to do manipulation, etc. Next, I want to know how many columns I have in my data set. So I have 2 columns. So I'm going to do columns with S, select my data set, close the parentheses, and I get 2 columns. Last trick I'm going to show you is that instead of having this formula on each row, what you could do is you do equal row, then you select all your rows, you close the parentheses, you press enter, and then you get them all in one go with one formula. And make sure you have blank cells here, because if you have some content here, it might give you an error. We're going to do the same for columns. We're going to do equal column, and then we're going to select those 2. We click, and then we get 3, 4 in one go. The last point to note is that the data that you get here, the row number and column number, is independent of what you have in the cell. So for example, instead of this, if I had like anything, it will not change my answer. The formula will still give me this 814 row and the third column in the Excel.